So we're going to start off here with the sales program. Who came here today to learn about how to grow their business? Who thinks they can improve and grow in their business? Yes, absolutely. But ultimately, like we said before, we want to change ourselves first, and then ultimately our businesses will be changed. So starting here with the sales, I start right off of it with the building value and rapport as the first screen would have shown. And you can actually go back there, it's fine. Yeah, so we have here the sales system is going to cover sales system overview, building value and rapport, setting the appointment, customer interaction, the close, the follow-up. Then we also have door-to-door selling, customer service, and then how to get a hold of us. So we're going to go down through that. Within that, it's going to break down to be about 150 sections of what we'll go through because it is a complex deal when we talk about sales. So we'll break that down for you. So we'll go to the next one. So future contribution sales system will take you step by step in how to build rapport and value, properly set an appointment, customer interaction, how to do a proper walk around with the customer. Who wants to know how to do that? How to gather information to build value. This one right here, I would think is one of the biggest missing pieces in most sales processes that we find. And it's not building value. You know, whenever we are going into any place, it's as if we're coming in there as like an investigator. We're trying to find reasons we can help the customer. You know, and a lot of times the customer has us out there and sometimes they're not sure if they want our product or service. They think that they need it. But we also have other things that we do that we could help the customer further than what they called us out for. So we want to find those reasons as well. So when we go out there gathering information, you know, we'll talk about doing the inspection like nobody else is going to do the inspection. Because when you come back to the customer, it doesn't matter how well they know you, how much they trust you, what kind of connection you have with the customer. If you can't point out how you can help them, you're not going to earn their business. And you also can't take them to the next level. What you offer, they didn't know you had. So that's going to be important as well. Because the key to profit is in the upsell. And at the end of the day, when we help the customer here at FC is what we teach is when we get helped, not the other way around. Because if we go in there with our own agenda, thinking about our own bank account, and put the customer second, the customer will feel that we will not close as many deals. So we always have the best interest in the customer in mind first, but then also going in that, knowing that, not being afraid to push the customer past their comfort point of what they want to spend. And we need to be the professionals and the authority and be seen that way to let the customer know, like, hey, based on our relationship, this is what I'm recommending that we do based on my experience. And a lot of times making that mental jump and that financial jump can take a lot of work. So we'll talk about how that's going to look. So set up a proper sales analysis, how to effectively lay out your sales presentation and presenting, overcome objections. That's a big one. You know, the thing is, which is interesting to me, is if you do all of these other steps correct till you get overcoming objections, you won't have as many objections. A lot of times, us as salespeople, we create our own objections. We personify that onto the customer. You know, if you constantly have to procrastinate and you're thinking about stuff in your own personal life and you're a think about it kind of guy, well, when you're asking a customer, subconsciously it's coming across to them that you're pushing onto them that they need to think about it. So a lot of times we create our own objections into those person. So another one would be price. You know, if everything about us is we're always trying to chew everybody else down and we're always trying to go for the cheapest and always trying to get the best deal and all this other stuff, well, when you come in front of the customer, that's going to come off from you to them as well. So we need to make sure, again, starts at home first, right? So when we got into that field, we can actually personify ourselves into the customer in a way that would be professional, helping them. But then sometimes there is objections that need to be overcome, legitimate ones. So we're going to learn how to do that. How to follow up effectively, selling and closing on the phone. We'll talk about those as well. All right, so these are just a few things that we're going to learn. The first thing that we're going to talk about, this is a huge one, guys. This is the bridge of rapport. Now, I don't expect you guys to be able to read and go through all this, but you can if you go and get the Future Contributions Business Development Sales Program. This is all in there. But starting off with the bridge of rapport, I explain it like this. Whenever there's anybody you're selling to, for example, You're here and they're on the other side. There's always a canyon of mistrust. They don't know if they can trust you. There's only 3 ways to get over this canyon, guys. You can be the evil Knievel, and you can try to jump it. You see how that worked out for a lot of people. Not very well. Or you can be that one who tries to talk themselves through the sale. They're just going to talk, and hope to walk across the canyon with the mere words that they build up. Or you can build a bridge of rapport. Rapport basically is relationship. It's trust. But it's more than just a surface level relationship. A lot of times we think rapport, we're thinking of something that's going to be, hey, you have a nice dog, I have a dog, you have a daughter, I have a daughter, whatever it is, but that's really surface level. You want to make a true connection with that customer. And a lot of times when I'm out at homes and service-based industries is simply just ask them, so where are you originally from? And then a lot of times you can get pretty close to building connection through there because people like talking where they're from. They like talking about things that they like, but then asking the deeper questions. When you're building the bridge of rapport, it's just what I said. You're actually building a bridge. So the only way to gap that canyon is those 3 different ways. When we're building a relationship with the customer and they can see us and they can trust us, rather than us, on a lot of salespeople, yelling across the canyon of their product and service, we're first going to stop and we're going to make sure the customer feels understood and heard. If the customer does not feel understood and does not feel heard, they're not going to listen to what we can say. And ultimately, it goes down to the old phrase of saying this first. People don't care how much you know till they know how much you care. So once they understand that they feel heard and understood, and a lot of times we need that valuable information as well. And once we have that information of, hey, why you're looking to get this done? Why now? Who's it for? And then I'm just curious, why you haven't pursued this earlier? Oh, it was a financial issue, but now we have the money now. All these other things will start coming out as we build the relationship with the customer. So to build that relationship with the customer, we can now cross the bridge of relationship that we have with them. Now we find ourselves in front of the customer. A lot of times I explain it this way. If you're not getting inside the home when you go to present your product or your service, you haven't got across the bridge. If they're not letting you through their door, they don't trust you. So that's an ultimate sign to let you know where you're at. So don't try to be the evil Knievel and kick the door in or anything like that. We got to take it one step at a time. But that ultimately is what the bridge of rapport is. So we walked across it, we stand in front of the customer, and now we are able to present the deal. The bridge of rapport does not guarantee a sale. It guarantees that the customer hears us. And that's about 90% of the sale right there. Everything else is just going to come down to making sure they understand your product and service thoroughly, because ultimately, and we'll get this in later on in the objection overcoming stage, there's only 8 core objections out of all the ones that are out there, and it only ever comes down to 2, which always relates to 1. And those 2 are going to be they didn't have enough information, they're confused, they don't understand. They might trust you. They'll trust you with your kids, it doesn't matter. They just don't understand. You weren't clear enough, so they can't make an educated decision. Or they don't trust you. But it really comes down to they didn't see you as the authority in your field. So we'll talk about that as well. So moving on past the bridge of rapport here, we have different ways to create connections with the customer. Number 1 is active listening. When you think about active listening, what do you think about? A lot of people think, okay, well, I'm hearing what the customer's saying, I'm taking notes, and please do not be that salesperson who's standing there writing down everything the customer says. This is not an interview. You're not interviewing them. Do not write down what the customer is telling you. If you have to write down their name, please go back to Sales 101, go through a training class before you get out into the field. We need to remember their name. Don't write it down. So when we're in front of the customer, our full attention is on that customer. And as we active listening, true active listening is not listening to everything they say. It's putting ourselves in the customer's shoes. And how is the customer hearing it? How would the customer feel when I'm telling it? How would the customer feel when I just told them if I have an HVAC system that their air conditioner is completely broken and gone? And if that is the truth, what evidence can I give them to let them know? Because we know a lot of times in the HVAC business, it's a simple fix. So you want to come across that you're being trusted. Example, another one is in the roofing industry. If somebody needs a new roof, they might trust you, but if they don't see you as the authority in the field and you're not actively listening to them and feeling what the customer's feeling, you might present it in a way that's, oh, it's just a new roof. Well, to them, it's not just a new roof. This is the entire thing that they knew. They don't know anything about it. You weren't clear enough, so you don't get the sale because you didn't actively listen. So we want to put ourselves in the customer's situation as we're speaking. Empathize with the customer. Ask open-ended questions. We talked about this last week, that if you want correct answers, anybody get frustrated asking the customer, well, what is it, what's stopping us from moving forward, or these different questions, and we know we're not getting the true answer. Those are called reflex objections. They're just coming at you with you, and they're just lying to you, really, is because they don't want to open up to you because they don't trust you, or they're uncomfortable, whatever it is. But when we look at that, asking open-ended questions, when you ask questions, great questions, it produces better questions that you can ask, which produces accurate answers. So get really good at asking questions. Ultimately, in sales, we are first leaders, and that's what we understand, is great leaders are great navigators. And if we can't become great navigators and great leaders, we can't guide people through the sales process. We can't leave them back here on step 2 when we're trying to take them to step 5. If we have not completed step 2, we cannot move to step 3. And a lot of times we push through those stop signs that are up to the customer. We run the intersection, we get T-boned, and we might recover and we might not. But we always have to go back and make sure that there's incremental sales that take place before the close. And every step of the sale has to be sold before we can move on to the next. So we'll talk about that. But we have mirror and match. This one can be very overdone. That's one when you're in sync with the customer, you cross their arm, or you cross their arm, yeah, that would be weird. You cross your arm, and then they cross their arm the same way. They can get very cheesy very quick. I'm not a very big advocate on this. In my decade of experiences and teaching other people, and actually having other titans in the industry, this is one that's going to happen naturally. So please don't just sit there and try to force that to happen. It's going to happen or it's not going to happen. Okay? Find common ground. That's what we were talking about earlier. Is find somewhere. You're from New York? Well, hey, I'm from Philadelphia. We're close by. We're almost neighbors. Oh yeah, the north is great or the south is great or wherever you're from. Find common ground with the customer. He has a Mustang in his driveway. You like Mustangs? You talk about Mustangs. And be sincere about it. And then show sincerity. Don't be fake when you're building common ground. If somebody has for example, they have a Mercedes in the driveway. You're a huge Corvette fan, for example, for us guys. Don't go in there and just start talking about Mercedes and stuff that you don't know. Find something else that you can have common ground on. These floors are absolutely amazing. I love these floors. This looks like it's tile and it's porcelain and you know nothing what you're talking about. You don't care at all. The customer is going to feel that coming through. So find true common ground with the customer. Remember name and details. This is very important because what the customer told you as you were building the bridge rapport, when it comes to the close, you didn't remember the details of what they told you. Me and Nate talk about this all the time. It's, it's the why. Earlier you said that you were interested in X and this was going to take care of this problem because this is what you called me out for. And this offers everything that you said that you wanted. Is there anything else that you would change about me, the product, or the company? Well, no. Well, it sounds like we're a great fit, sir. So if you can have the details in the beginning, you can use them at the end to close. Remember name and details and express appreciation and gratitude. Share personal information appropriately. That's enough said. Positive body language. Body language is more, so people are communicating through their body language more than what they're saying. So just words alone are only adequate to about 60% of all communication. The rest is going to come through body language and then tone and inflection. Because I could say, it's a great day, or I could say, it's a great day. I said two very different things with the same word. Or it's a great day, or it is a great day. So when we're looking at the customer, their micro expressions. Are their arms crossed? Are they standing away from you? Is their hand out like this? Those are all things that let you know how comfortable the customer is with you. So if the customer is not comfortable, don't move past that zone of connection, asking questions, until their arms drop, they come down, they're more open to you. So going on to the next, be patient, guys. Be patient with the customer. How long should a sale take? As long as it takes. What's the most important customer? The one in front of you. So now understand too, it's important to make sure you're setting enough time aside for your appointments, but if you run past that time, do not be checking your watch, do not be looking at your phone. You don't know if the next customer is going to be there, if they're going to cancel. You have no idea. All you know is you have a customer in front of you now. You just built an hour's worth of rapport and work. Now's not time to rush the deal. Next is follow through on commitments. Now, this is more so as the job is being completed. Stay positive and respectful, practice empathy, be a good communicator, and adapt to cultural differences. You know, when you're walking in different people's homes, you know, for example, when you're walking to somebody who's from India or China, you know, take your shoes off when you walk through those doors. That's common culture over there. So another thing about being a great salesman is being, I guess, culturally in tune with the different aspects and religions and different things like that around the world, and then adapting to them because you're coming to their home, you know, so they set the rules and you follow those rules. And if you stay within their guidelines, they will follow your guidelines, especially when you lead them to the sale. So moving on, we'll have the next one here, and that will be coming up. Open-ended questions. You know, example of open-ended questions, guys, is going to be, what are you looking for in a service or product? Can you tell me about your current challenges? How do you see our product service fitting into your business or home? What features are most important to you? Can you describe your ideal outcome for using our product or service? That is so huge. That is a big one. You know, and I'll tell you, all these are going to come into place in the fact-finding steps of the sale to the road, the process. So we'll go through that, but this is so important is, you know, what is your ideal outcome for doing this? Right there, you have gained so much valuable information. If we don't understand what that is, now a lot of times it's very obvious what that is. And if you've been in the industry and what you're doing a long time, you can figure out their why without even asking those people. However, if those people are not telling you their why, then it's not coming from them, it's coming from you. So there's power in having the customer tell you why they want the deal or the product or service. How do you prefer to handle specific aspects related to your product or service? What are your main concerns about making this purchase? What is your main concern about having a roof installed? What's your main concern about getting insurance? What's your main concern about having the house painted? You know, what's your main concern about having the junk removed from your home, your trees trimmed? This helps understand the decision-making process. You can align your approach. And then number 10, what would make this product or service a perfect fit for you? That's another powerful one. What does not align with what you're looking for, but also what would make it a perfect fit? What would a perfect fit for my product or service be for you, and what would that look like? That's powerful. Next, finding a customer's hot buttons. So a hot button would be somebody who, or a spot with the customer would be something, okay, I really don't care about anything else as long as the color is exactly what I picked. I don't care if you ruined my entire yard. I don't care if you cracked the concrete coming in. As long as the pool color is exactly what I wanted, or the roofing color is exactly what I wanted. Whatever their decision-making spot would be of saying, hey, this is why I want to make the decision. You ever hear that you bought a house, but you paid for the kitchen? You know, some people they don't care about anything else. They just care about the kitchen. So if you're selling a home for this aspect, you go in. If you find out somebody cooks a lot and they just really love the kitchen, don't spend a lot of time at the pool. Don't spend a lot of time in looking at the different features of the home. Spend time on what they're interested in. Sell them what they're interested in, and everything else just comes along with it. Does that make sense? Ask open-ended questions. We talked about observe body languages, identifying pain points, review past interactions. So look at a previous conversation, feedback, or service history to identify patterns. A customer has repeatedly asked for quick turnaround times, likely values efficiency. So how's your past interactions been when you had your paver sealed? Things like that. You want to find out what they didn't like and what they did like. Personalized interaction, which you talked about. Offer choices. So we're going to talk about offering choices in the sales system and their fact finding, as well as when we get down to presenting the numbers. We always offer choices in the sale. We're never just offering one thing. You're always offering 3 of the same thing, because the rule of thumb is they will pick the middle one. If you're not offering 3 different options, then you're going to really have to fight against, I need to think about it, I need to get more information. But when you offer 3, what I have seen in training companies and salespeople and in my own career is a lot of objections will go away, and your closing percentage will go up by about 30% by just adding 3 options. We have follow-up questions. Use testimonial and case studies. So testimonials is telling your story. Your story is powerful. What makes you different than any other salesperson that's in front of those people? It's not your product, it's not your service, it's not your company, it's not even what you say. It's how the customer felt when you were in front of them, how you communicated yourself to them, and at the end of it, it really comes down to they felt heard. Because people will always remember how they were treated. They won't necessarily remember what you said. I can't tell you how many times I've been in people's home and I'd ask, well, I'm just curious why you went with our company. They said, I just felt like it was right. They felt like it was right. And a lot of times they can't remember what I said, a particular phrase, or because we had equal competing products and services, and both companies had the same reviews online and the same testimonials. But it came down, the customer felt heard and understood. And that's what makes you different than every other deal or other salesperson, is because you're going to make the customer feel valued, heard, and understood. We're not going to push our agenda. We're going to push their agenda. And by helping their agenda, we get helped. So moving on, we'll go past another page here. Setting the appointment. So we have here, coming to the road to the sale, we have topic 1, appointment setting. This is so important. If you're setting your own appointments, some people have office people, and if you have excellent appointment setters like Ellen over here, we would not be selling the product or service over the phone when you're setting an appointment. You're not selling the product, you're selling an appointment. Don't get caught up in the customer asking you all these questions and you give them all the information. So guess what? You know what? I'll call you back. You want to give them enough information so they have you come out there, but not too much so they don't need to have you come out. So it's important. We are not selling a product, we're selling an appointment. Match the customer's energy on the phone. If you have a customer who answers and is really low speaking voice and you come at them high energy, it will shut them down. But if somebody's high energy on that phone and you come at them with a low energy, you're going to bring them down. You're not going to get that appointment set. So if those customers are calling in, our lead response time needs to be within 5 minutes. Within 5 minutes on average. If we do not get back to a customer on average in 5 minutes, 80% of the time you will not get back in touch with that customer. If the customer called you and you were not able to get in touch with them, when you call somebody when setting an appointment, you don't just call one time. You call, then you call again, then you leave a voicemail, you send them an email, and you send them a text message. And then you will do that again later on in that day. The only difference is you won't leave a voicemail and you won't do a text message. Other than that, everything else will be exactly the same. So 3 points of contact twice a day. How long do you do that? You do it for 8 consecutive days straight, every single day. So you're touching that person in contact there as far as trying to set the appointment. Probably that would come down to, at 8 consecutive times, you're having about 30 outbound actions to those people. Because on average, it takes about 6 to 8 times for somebody to actually pick up that phone or get back to you. On average. So we want to make sure that our follow-up is key when setting an appointment. Because a lot of us are paying a lot of money for these leads. And why would we, go out there to these set appointments and do everything we can to sell the deal, but not do everything we can to get the appointment. So it's important that we do that. And then moving on to smile. You know, when setting the appointment, you want to smile. People can hear a smile over the phone. They know what your body posture is over the phone. If you're having trouble and you feel sluggish and things, stand up. When I ever have an important phone call, I do not stay seated at my desk. I stand up. Something happens in posture and tone and inflection over the phone when you stand up, and it's powerful. So if you ever have an important call coming in, do not stay seated, especially if you need to be on top of it. Stand up. It'll change everything for you. Talk smooth, clear, with energy, not fast or slow. Remember that when you're talking on the phone with somebody, whether you're trying to sell or set an appointment, you're showing a blind person what colors look like. Okay? They never seen black before. They never seen yellow before. So your words here are going to be very important. You need to paint the picture for the customer because they cannot see you. They're only hearing your tone and inflection. And we don't think in thought, by the way. We don't think in words. Did you ever think about that? So if you think fridge, you didn't think F-R-I, fridge. Well, you thought you seen a fridge. Well, black fridge, small black fridge sitting on a counter. Now we're getting somewhere, right? We're describing and painting a picture. So that's the emphasis. Whenever we're on the phone, we want to be communicative. And then always agree with the customer. Always agree with the customer. Don't ever get confrontational with the customer when setting an appointment and or in a deal. Have you ever done business with anybody you disagreed with? No, that doesn't work very well. So if the customer thinks something's black, it's black. If they think the sky is yellow, I could see how you could think that. So always agree with the customer. And then always ask their name, all their information, and use their name often in the call. So we want to make sure that oftentimes, especially in my companies, we have like a cheat sheet. We have everything stacked. We already know what to ask them, and we're writing it down as we go. This is where, guys, you can write it down in front of the customer because they can't see you. But it's important you get their addresses, their name, all the important information, their gate codes, all of it. All of that's going to come into here. So when setting an appointment with a customer, you'll need to gather specific information to ensure a smooth and productive meeting. Here's the essential information you should obtain. So we're not going to go through all of this. You can see all this on the FC program. But of course, their name, their contact information. So when you go to the FC program and setting appointments, you'll know exactly what to ask for because this has been industry standard and all successful in-home service businesses. This is the layout. So follow this template to the key. So we'll keep on moving here. Let's check on how much time we have. So we're right at that time. I'm going to go through one more page here. Everybody good? We're having fun? We're learning something?
Yeah.
Okay, good.